Hi guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rocksound with a very special news update, as today we are premiering a brand new covers medley of Rage Against the Machine classics, produced by Dave and Frank from Sum 41 and Bert and Jeph from The Used. So I had the chance to catch up with all the guys over Zoom and talk about how this project came together, what Rage Against the Machine means to them, and how they've been staying creative during lockdown over the last year. Take a look. When did you guys all kind of meet and get to know each other? I imagine The Used and Sum 41 must have crossed paths a fair few times over the years, right?
Yeah, do you guys remember the first time?
Oh, it's been so long. I remember hanging out with a few of the guys backstage at Reading and Leeds when Metallica headlined. I think that was like 2003, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah.
It's been a long time back. We've had some pretty cool like meetups throughout the years. We played together in South Africa. That was like 2011.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
Also, Frank, we've known Frank forever.
Some in the Used toured American amphitheaters like maybe 2 summers ago, and it was just so fun to tour together. And it was a great fit in every way. But I go back to knowing these guys for 17 years now because of Street Drum Corps. The Used helped break us, took us on tour around, Canada, America, many times. Bert did the first single we ever put out, Street Drum Corps, with us. And it's just been family. So I've just toured with these guys probably more than any other band I've toured with between Sum and Street Drum Corps. It's just family.
Yeah.
We lived together too. You remember that?
We did. I kind of remember. It's a little bit hazy. Yeah.
This is a messy house in West LA. Lived with a few of the sweet drum bros for a little while and known and loved Frank for so long. It's awesome. It's awesome finally doing something with these guys.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, it fits really well, obviously, as a team with this collab. And I guess that's a place to start with this actual video. What are the kind of, the challenges of doing something like this now? It's not like you can all rock up in the room together and actually play as a band. How was it trying to put together a medley, like from a distance from all these different countries?
I don't know, pretty easy. I had some practice with some covers before, but this was kind of like a thing where it was like, I know how much love Frank and I have for Rage, and Frank was the one that brought up like, yo, we should go with Bert and Jeph from The Used for vocals and bass. I was just like, it was a no-brainer. So to do this all remotely, of course, like the only thing I think you have to wait for is maybe like next day due to time zones. But other than that, it goes really, really quickly. And it was super easy. Like everybody's really good at what they do. So there wasn't much to say other than good job.
Frank, I mean, talk to me a little bit about what Rage had meant to you in your musical career.
When I heard that first record, and I remember somebody gave me the CD, and it was just one of those life-changing records that you hear that it's just something special, and just the rhythm that it's just such a pocket. It was like Zeppelin pocket. It just moved me a lot. All the things that I love about rock and funk music, and just how aggressive and the meaning behind it. It really was such a special record that I played along to in my parents' basement, for a long time. It's also a very hard thing to cover because it's just, there's so much respect, there for that group. It was definitely a challenging one in a way because you want to do respect and justice to it, for sure. But it was fun because it was super just punk rock and DIY, all of us doing it, from our little home laptops or whatever we had just to get it done, which was cool to collaborate this way and just, challenge all of ourselves. Like, how do we do this? We want to do this. And then let's make a video portion of it as well to go with it as we're recording. So it was just a fun, cool collab. And obviously if we were all on tour doing what we normally were doing, we wouldn't get to do something like this. And it was cool to do things like this in these times. And it was just us all talking to each other. It wasn't like, oh, we got to get our agents and managers and labels involved. Everybody to sign off. It was like, we're just doing this. We're bros. Let's have fun. And it's kind of just trading files back and forth. And Dave was kind of like the anchor. Everything would come to Dave and he'd kind of put it all together and whatnot.
I was the anchor, but I would definitely fall asleep at the bottom of the ocean. And Frank would be pulling me up and be like, yo, start moving.
Not letting the ship get wrecked there.
Yeah,
Not letting the
exactly,
ship wreck, man. Not letting it happen. Yeah, Jeph, let's talk to you, man. I'm like, yeah, tell me a little bit about what Rage has meant to you guys.
I mean, bass wise alone, Tim has been such a major influence, just his actual bass lines and his bass tone too. I mean, going back when I first got that first record, I mean, it blew me away. The lyrics, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It blew me away, some of that shit. I mean, there wasn't really anything like that at the time that was that, what am I trying to say? Poetic, but at the same time, like against the fucking machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was pretty badass. But going back to just bass lines alone, I mean, he had such simple, epic bass lines, you know, that you could almost sing along to, that were kind of like a majority to the part, you know what I'm saying? Like the bass line was sort of like, we're talking anchors. It was kind of like the anchor of the song in a way for me, but I'm also, you know, I've always thought bass stuff first. And so hearing that and kind of thinking that idea of having like a bass line is sort of like the major melody, you know, of course, minus the vocals and stuff. It really struck me at that time. So yeah, Rage is awesome.
Yeah, man. Dave, I mean, you know, we talk about the band as a whole there. I mean, they were such a legendary crew, but I guess stepping into Tom Morello's shoes, even for a second, has got to be a little bit daunting, right? What's your approach, man, when you're taking on these legendary guitar riffs right there?
Yeah, I mean, Tom, from like Pockets all the way down to his writing style, he's one of the biggest influences on my entire life. As a kid, when I first started playing guitar, I had like an open window and it just led out to a street. And I would do the same kind of things when I was first learning guitar. I'd just be kind of sitting there, you know, my homework not getting done and me just sitting there trying to figure out the sound of a car passing by or something like that. And to hear him say that he was doing the exact same thing out in his apartment in LA, it was just awesome to understand that there was somebody else that thinks like me. Mind you, I'm nowhere near his level as far as playing and creation, but it was amazing to see a guitar hero who is looking beyond just the spoils of like heavy metal or the spoils of rock and roll. He wanted to unite genres. And, you know, for me growing up in a smaller kind of town, smaller scene out Durham, Ontario, the metalheads and the hip hop heads were way far apart from each other. First got brought together by Bring the Noise, of course. And then, you know, once that Rage album hit, everybody kind of had an understanding, and just the intertwining of the two kind of scenes within our tiny scene made shows bigger, made minds more open. And they just had like such an influence that went beyond just pressing something onto a CD. It actually infected people's minds and helped people accept each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, man, for sure. But, you know, in terms of your vocal style and everything, you know, I guess, you know, not a huge amount of the kind of heavy rap style on the used records and that kind of material. But I tell you what, I can certainly hear Zach's influence in your screams, in your kind of, you know, when you get a bit rougher, a bit rawer there. Tell me about kind of his inspiration for you. And yeah, I guess, again, what Rage meant to you over the years.
I grew up in a musical family, but really religiously conservative. So rock and roll was a little bit of a touchy topic, except for if it was like Heart or Journey or something that my dad found to be rocking, right? So yeah, Rage's first CD was one of my very first actual CDs that I had. My girlfriend, when I was 12, I think, she gave it to me for my birthday, along with Pearl Jam 10. So it was my introduction to my own world of music that wasn't necessarily scrutinized by my parents, and I could put it on in my Discman, you know, and listen to it by myself without anyone hearing. And yeah, his approach to lyrics and meaningful political messages that you could dig deep into and really expand your horizons, I think is something for a 12-year-old. I had no idea that there was a world of music out there that explored these difficult issues of equality, equity, and just what's happening around the world. Yeah, it's more than daunting to try to do something that Zach did because of my lack of my ignorance to the whole world of rap. I'm definitely not a rapper, but it's more about the spirit of the punk rock of the entire thing that kind of always has drawn me to Rage. They're very, very original. They're not a hardcore band, but they are. They're not a rap band, but they are. It's just this undefinable, and I think things like that are so precious, and they move the zeitgeist so much further in music. It's like an Einstein, if you will. It's like that kind of thing steps everybody else's game up completely. And we've done Rage medleys in the past for the Used during like encores and stuff, and they've always been some of the funnest things we've done. Nothing gets a crowd riled up like Rage Against the Machine, that's for sure. So yeah, this was an absolute pleasure. I'm glad I got to do it with such a beautiful man.
Very well said. And it's, you kind of already hinted at it, guys, that this is just a lovely thing to be able to do now when you guys aren't out on tour at the minute and finding ways to stay creative. I know I've chatted with a couple of you guys for our video call series through the year anyway, but just generally, how have you found, especially in these last few months, being able to stay creative while you're at home? It's no mean feat being able to actually keep yourself going, and whether it's working on music or projects like this. How have you guys found it over these last few months, I suppose, being stuck at home but still keeping the work going?
Well, it's a good thing I don't write lyrics, because everything would be about how my kids are doing. So it'd be super boring. But I don't know, staying creative. This time, me personally, I've just used it to kind of connect with, the people that I've met over the past like 20 years, like 20 odd years of my life, and to actually do something instead of just sitting backstage and being like, yeah, we should do something, man. We should do something. And then, we don't talk for another 5 years. This has been the year to kind of catch up on the past 2 decades for me.
Yeah, good to use the momentum like that. Frank, I know we've already talked a little bit before, but you've just not stopped, have you, man? You're just carrying on, working hard, dude. What's next for you after this?
It's definitely, I've just tried to put that energy, that we all miss from touring and all that into music, family, in these times. But it's been over a year now, and it's just like, I think we're all like, okay, we really need to get back now. And it's like seeing Slam Dunk now, hopefully will happen in September, would be, the greatest gift ever to get back, this year. But I just been writing and recording more solo music. I'm just going to put out another grip of singles. Most of us here are, Jeph is a daddy dog kid. Dad's a dogs, his dogs.
Dog
but
mom.
yeah,
Dog mom.
dog mom.
Dog mom.
For the three of us here with, young kids and whatnot, it's been, really precious family time to be part of, and for all of us to not miss like we've mainly missed. So, super important.
Yeah, Jeph, I mean, aside from the dogs, of course, I imagine you, much like Bert, are absolutely desperate to get out and play that last Used record live, man. I mean, you must be so ready to get those songs in front of the crowd when that happens, right?
Oh my God, I can't wait. Seriously. I've just been like thinking about it. Every time I listen to the record, I think about all the details and all the fun stuff, and what we're going to play and how we're going to pull it off. And, it's really exciting, I mean, it came out in the middle of the pandemic pretty much, you know what I mean? So the past couple months, I'm sure everybody's gone through these too. I went through all these different waves of things, like there was a couple months there where I was just focused on bass and that's it. And then I kind of got over that a little bit in a different way. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on something else, like yard work. I was just trying to do stuff to keep my brain happy, and then I got a puppy, like you were saying, and then that fucked everything up for like a good long time, no sleeping, pee on everything, and now that's kind of coming out of that. And I'm back in the thing where I'm like, fuck, man, like, please get me on tour. I want to play these songs. I want to play the old songs. I want to play anything. You know what I mean? Like being in a bus, smelling a bus, even just hugging my friends, that'd be tight.
Oh, God, yeah, we all miss it so much, man. Cannot wait for shows to come back. Fingers crossed before the end of the year, right? Fingers crossed, man. But one thing I wanted to mention to you, man, obviously we had a chat around the record last year, but since then, you popped up on that really cool track with Machine Gun Kelly and Yungblud. We actually did one of these with MGK a while back. He was talking about how much he loved that working experience. Just a little bit, if you will, about working on that track. What was it like for you getting in the studio with those guys?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've known Travis and the Blink guys for as long as I've known the Sum 41 guys, and Travis showed me the new direction of Machine Gun Kelly while we were recording with Feldman. Everybody was kind of like, wow, this is pretty cool, actually. This kind of cool new direction. And his whole crew's super nice, bunch of really passionate musicians, especially Travis. He's a driven, hardworking guy. So I was more than honored to be able to jump in. And just a few of the other things I've gotten to be able to do. We did a track with Wes Borland and Tanner from In Flames, covering a Jane's Addiction song, which was really cool. Also one of my all-time favorite bands growing up. So yeah, I've just been trying to stay positive. It's rare that you get people who love their jobs as much as we do. Most of us don't even think about it as a job. So it's been absolutely heartbreaking, especially in the beginning, I think, when there was so much uncertainty about especially bad narratives politically coming from certain places. Like, this pandemic's going to be over in 2 weeks. I'm like, sweet. All right, then we're going to be back on tour. So yeah, there's been some rough moments throughout, but like Frank said, just being home with the kids is something that's kind of otherworldly for us for this amount of time. So being able to take my daughters to school and pick them up and just really be a constant part of the life has been something incredible. Definitely a positive that we can take from it. I think as well for us as adults, it's a lot easier for us to lose, year 38 for me, or, year 22 for Jeph. You know what I mean? But for a teenager, if you can imagine losing out on your 14th year of life, what a fucking heartbreaking disaster. So yeah, I've been trying to keep things in perspective in that way. I feel really lucky to be living in a place that really hasn't even had a pandemic, although that takes a kind of authoritarian, totalitarian lockdown on your freedoms, which we all know there's two types of freedoms. So yeah, it's been a trying time. We can't wait to get back out there. We hope that we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Go check out that covers medley right now over at rocksound.tv. And in the meantime, I've been James Wilson Taylor, and this has been a Rock Sound News Update.